It's a terrible football show. What do you expect?
I want whatever you guys are smoking right now.
OH.
Oh, baby, yeah!
Just in my brain, it just makes so much sense.
You have no quarterback. You're going to need some punters.
Welcome to a terrible football show.
That's my quarterback and my teammate, man.
Ruins my holiday every damn year.
They draft Xavier Worthy. What the? Wide receiver from Texas.
Hamster.
Bears pick is in.
What?
Bears pick is in.
No! Jerry Jones, what are you doing? Oh, man.
If it's Toledo, I'm drawing the best damn rocket there is out there.
Excuse me.
I don't even think that's PG.
I told my HR director about this show. He's going to listen to it.
We're getting sued again, boys. This show's so bad, we almost got sued once, so we might get almost sued again.
Listen, guys, this is a terrible football show where everybody may be good at nothing, but we are terrible at everything.
Yeah, he's successful at just giving his terrible opinions, so why can't I? Terrible football show, after all. Welcome to a terrible football show. I'm Alex Light with Sparky3. Hopefully you are having a phenomenal day, whatever day you are watching or listening to the show. I know last week I was flying a little solo and I was a little depressy and the messy, but I got Ricky here with me on Discord here today. Ricky, buddy, how you doing, friend?
I'm doing all right. Been a super busy couple of weeks with basketball season starting. We're in the grind. I'm in the middle of a 5-game week if you count the Friday game that I've got to go with high school this coming week. So it's definitely I've got a game tomorrow, got a game Friday, and I've got a game Saturday. So it's definitely a super busy week.
What's your record? How you looking?
We're 4-4 right now on my ninth grade bunch. We beat Sheridan last night by 15. That was a pretty big win. We needed that win. We definitely been grinding some of these out, and we have a very tough schedule this year.
There you go. Hey, here we go. 4-4. We rising, we climbing, we getting there, we rocking with it. Love to hear it. Just like we're gonna be rocking it with it here today, because boy, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. Today is all about the college football playoffs. The bracket is set. The 12 teams, and with all the madness that took place over conference championship weekend, Duke winning the ACC, shaking things up, getting a couple of G5s in there, Alabama getting in, BYU left out, Notre Dame left out. There's a lot of conversations, a lot of noise around the college football playoff. We're going to talk about that today, as well as I am officially submitting my application to the world to become the commissioner of the FBS, because I'm going to present to the world today all of your very legitimate options to fix college football and make college football better. And that's what we're here to do, is to do better. Make sure to go pick up a Do Better shirt at sparky3shop.com. We'll try to shout out some merch later on, as well as some Rogue Energy. Join the Discord to come chat with us. And if you want sports for the Patreon's a great way to do so. Ricky, are you ready to go ahead and hop into today's news and get into the college football playoff talk?
Let's do it.
All right, yeah. So hopping over to today's news. So, of course, the playoffs. This is the big one for today. We're going to be diving into this whole thing here in today's episode. But let's touch on a couple things to shout out. The first is the breaking news as of today. Sharon Moore is officially out as Michigan head football coach. Here's a statement from the AD that he has been terminated with cause effective immediately. Following a university investigation, credible evidence has found Coach Moore has engaged in inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Spicy. This conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Biff Bogie has been appointed the head football coach in interim capacity effective immediately. So this is basically a Brian Harsin situation all over again. I mean, that's what it is. So, in and out pretty quickly for Sharon Moore. We now have one of the biggest jobs in the country now open. And boy, I am curious as hell who's going to be getting that spot. Ricky, any quick thoughts? Any quick thoughts on who could get that spot? Any names you want to throw out there? Yeah, because there's a lot of jobs filling up, man. This is the worst time for this to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if the interim sticks for next year. Just to be honest with you,
like kind of like a John L. Smith, your favorite guy kind of situation, right? Just smile, Bubba.
I mean, yeah, just smile.
Just smile.
I'm just going to, I don't know what Michigan does here necessarily just in this particular moment. Just like you said, the timing is way off.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Which is why I think the most likely what's going to happen is the interim's going to stick around. Now, there are a couple of names out there that they could be on the lookout for.
True.
Obviously, John Gruden has still been pointed out that he wants to be a head football coach. But I'm gonna kind of toss something to you.
Okay, toss it.
What if Mike Tomlin leaves Pittsburgh and he's wide open? Do you at least make a pitch to him to say, hey, we have something here at Michigan? Do you at least make a pitch to him?
So I feel like if you're a school like Michigan specifically, yeah, you make the pitch. But man, I don't know. I kind of take Mike Tomlin as like a John Cena, where he's a man of his word. Where Mike Tomlin said, never say never, but never. There's not a booster that can write a big enough blank check. I believe Mike Tomlin, man. I think he's a pro guy. I mean, I think you make the pitch 100%. But I can't see Mike going down to the college level.
But at the same time, he may not have a job in Pittsburgh after this year.
I mean, I agree, but I think he's going to have a job in the NFL. He don't have to go down to college.
I mean, you're probably right about that. But I mean, there was a couple of guys, Ben Roethlisberger, some of his past players. Yeah. They were pitching him to go to Penn State.
Yeah, I saw.
He'd have been a perfect fit. He'd have been a perfect fit at Penn State.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he'd be a great fit anywhere, but it's just I just don't think he's the college guy. I do kind of believe I kind of take him at face value, like John Cena saying that, hey, after this Saturday, I'm done. You will not see me compete. I believe him because obviously we see people retire and not retire. You know what I mean? I believe John and I believe Mike when he says there's not a booster with a big enough blank check. I do believe Mike on that one. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I said, worst possible timing for this to happen for Michigan. I don't know who they're gonna get to kind of fill that spot.
It's gonna be tough because I mean some of the names, like there are some other names that are out there, but I don't know if Michigan is going to go those types of routes.
Right.
They could go down there and grab Gus Malzahn from Florida State if they wanted to. He has head coaching experience, but at the same time, nothing at that high of a level. Like he doesn't have. He would be the worst fit. That's what I'm saying. Like Bobby Petrino, worst fit. They won't fit. So it's like if they're gonna I think the interim tag stays.
I think
the interim tag stays, or you might make a phone call down to Southern California and Lincoln Riley. I hate Lincoln Riley. Can't stand the SOB, but he would be a good fit at Michigan.
Yeah, no, that you're not wrong on that one. Maybe make some calls, but whatever calls are gonna be made, it's gonna open up another spot. But then again, they could just go a coordinator route. You never know. They could just hire some hot shot coordinator that's going on. I mean, there's a lot of teams losing all their coordinators after the playoffs. Maybe make another call to another team that hadn't lost their coordinator yet. That's been a pretty solid coordinator so far. Who knows?
I bet old Lane Kiffin wishes he would have waited a little while.
Yeah, I know, just a little while longer. You know what I mean? Just a little while longer. So no, like I said, worst possible time for him. I think the interim tag is going to stick just because of the timing of it. But hey, who knows? I guess we'll see. We'll find out. Let's hit the next piece of news real quick. Hey, Phillip Rivers is out of retirement, baby. Indianapolis Colts, Phillip Rivers. Grandpa Phil is back in the NFL. And I also wanted to shout this out. Jacob shared this in the ATFS Discord, which you can go join right now in the description below, saying your childhood is not over yet, folks. Phillip Rivers is back. Patriots have 11 wins. The Cowboys are average. Joe Flacco is slinging it. There's drama in Philly. Matthew Stafford's a stud. Seahawks defense is nasty. Rodgers is the 4 seed, and the Browns and Raiders are eliminated. Yep, that's right, folks. Your childhood ain't done yet. We're circling it back, baby. We're circling it back. You get one last little breath with this signing, though. His Hall of Fame credentials is pushed back 5 years. It is reset, which could probably work out for him. He wasn't going to get in this year anyway. But no, like I said in the Discord to the guys, this is going to go one of two ways. That man's either going to go out there and throw 4 touchdowns, 350 yards, or that man's going to go out there and throw 4 picks and 100 yards. I don't know which it's going to be, but we'll see. The thing is, like, realistically, I think he's going to be fine as long as his body holds up, right? As long as his body can take the hit and stuff, I think he's going to be fine because even in his last year, he didn't look like Peyton Manning or Drew Brees where their arm was literally on the last limb, right? Like he made it to the playoffs, almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. He was still slinging it. I know it was 5 years ago, but if he can sling it, even if it's just check down, slants, middle of the field, whatever, and take some hits, I think he'll be fine, man, because it's like all greats say. It's like their mind just keeps getting better and better and better, but it's how long can the body keep up? So, hey, as long as he can take some hits and sling the ball, I think it'll be an interesting few weeks for Indianapolis Colts football. That's for sure. Last thing I wanted to shout out is it is confirmed for Zach Ertz that he has suffered a season-ending torn ACL. I just wanted to shout that out because honestly, I'm going to guess that's potentially a career-ending torn ACL. 13 years in the league, baby. 35 years old. Do you really want to try to rehab and come back next year? You know what I mean? That's the question. If he was 7 years in the league, 6 years in the league, might be a different situation. But torn ACL at this point for a tight end, I mean, Ricky, I feel like you hang it up, right? I feel like you call it a day. What do you think?
So first of all, let's go back to Phillip Rivers, who has not played in the NFL in 5 years. This could be a dumpster fire disaster waiting to happen. That's all I'm saying.
True.
It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years.
True.
It's one of those deals where, and I get it to an extent. Indianapolis was kind of in that situation. They're desperate because they have a really good football team. Danny Dimes goes down with an Achilles injury. I get it, but at the same time, damn. That's
right.
all I'm gonna say.
Right.
When it comes to, I hope I'm wrong because I love Phillip Rivers.
Right.
I am one of those that loves Phillip Rivers, and yes, he had a very good year, his very final year. I kind of wish he would have just hung it up, but I get it. It's one of those deals that maybe you didn't think you were ready to retire and you come back. Get that part. Let's get all that. But yeah, Zach Ertz is done. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think
Nasty hit.
a younger tight end, he comes back and rehabs. But let's be honest, Zach Ertz has not been the same for quite a while now. He's not what he once was, as it was. Kind of like how we're starting to see the decline of Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Which is also another sad thing. But
True.
You just get to a point. You just get to a point that football is not what it once was for you.
True.
And it's Father Time is undefeated.
Facts.
And it just happens.
Yep. No, it does. So, Zach Ertz was an absolute dog. Hate to see it happen, especially that nasty of a hit. Hate for it to end this way, but yeah, I think Ertzy's done, unfortunately. Unfortunate situation there. Man, Washington has gone through it this year. They have gone through it. Lord have mercy. They went from so much promise to what happened just overnight, it feels like. So, anyway, I think we need to hop into the playoffs, man, because I'm going to be honest to the listeners, that's going to be pretty much the rest of the episode is we are talking college football playoffs. Ricky, would you agree to that statement? Because there's a lot to digest. And there's a lot to go through.
Absolutely. And then, of course, don't forget Army Navy, ladies and gentlemen. That's the game of the year right there. Let's go.
Wait, what was it? You broke up there, bub.
No, I was just saying Army Navy this week, and that's the game of the year right there.
Yeah. No, I got some opinions on that too. We're gonna get into that here in a little bit. You're not gonna like my opinion, but I got my opinions on that. You're not gonna like my opinion, but
that's okay. I'll try.
Yeah. All right, let me hop over to the screen. So we have the college football playoff here on the screen. So let's go through our seeding after the championship weekend. Indiana at the number 1. Shout out to them making school history. Winning the Big Ten for the first time since World War II or whatever, and going. They're now 13-0. That's a new best, and we'll see if they can keep going on that one. Ohio State 2, no surprising there. They were number 1 almost all year. Georgia 3, Texas Tech 4, Oregon 5. Let's see, Ole Miss 6, Texas A&M 7, Oklahoma 8, Alabama at 9, Miami at 10, Tulane at 11, and James Madison at 12. Of course, we have 2 Group of 5s because Virginia lost in the ACC championship, which then put us in that situation where it is the top 5 ranked, highest ranked champions get into the dance. So Duke, of course, was 8-5 at this point now after winning the ACC in upset fashion. And and allows these other group of fives to get into the dance. So there's definitely been a lot of conversation around this bracket and how it's set up with no Notre Dame, Miami coming in, Alabama not moving, BYU getting out, et cetera, et cetera. So, Ricky, off the top, just one question. Did they get the correct 12?
I don't know if they got the correct 12. I don't like the rule of the highest conference champion. I think one group of five. Like I'm okay with two group. Listen, I'm okay with the group of five wanting to challenge. Come in and for a challenge and everything like that. But I'm also why not just the next highest ranked team instead of the next highest ranked champion? Because because the whole situation that they have to have five conference champions in, or whatever the case may be, blows my absolute mind, considering the fact that the ACC, their whole entire system of getting into a conference championship, as far as their tiebreaker goes, is absolutely ridiculous. And they need to do what the SEC does. The SEC says, look, a tiebreaker, it's the next highest college football playoff rank. That's who gets to the SEC championship game. It needs to be the same exact way across the board. And I think that's where we're seeing more of the division is that part right there. So I will say I don't think they got the best 12 in by any means, because I don't think we need to have two group of fives. Although I love me some James Madison. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been vouching for James Madison to get in over Tulane the entire season, which I thought they were a shoe in. But for whatever reason, the playoff committee really values the American Conference well more than they do the Sun Belt Conference.
True.
I mean, and rightfully so if you think about it. But I still think they should have gone with the next highest ranked. Get rid of and this is just one of those situations where you've got to get rid, and they're still making tweaks to it, but I still think it needs to be the highest rank. If you don't have a conference champion, that's a higher rank or a highest rank in the top 12, whatever the case may be. If there's not a solution to it, it needs to be the highest ranked team, not the next conference champion. Because now you have two group of fives. And I'm sorry if we have
We're losing you, bub.
not getting in this year.
We lost you a little bit there. The last thing we heard is we're not getting in this year.
Sorry about that. What I'm saying is, if those two group of five schools end up getting blown out, which there's a possibility of that happening, let's be honest.
Especially Tulane.
Notre Dame may have a lot of arguments, especially Tulane. Yes, Notre Dame's going to have some arguments on why they should have gotten into the college football playoff.
Yeah, no, I've been calling for a while that, it didn't matter if it was one or two. If the group of five comes in and gets absolutely just smacked and dog walked, which I think is possible for both of them. I have a little bit more confidence on James Madison than I do Tulane. I just don't think Tulane, even the coach up front said that I don't think we're one of the top 25 teams in the country. Tulane just has not shown that to me this year. I think James Madison could potentially put up a fight, but it's still Oregon. I mean, and I think Oregon's a lot more powerful than Ole Miss. I just think Tulane is a shoo-in to get destroyed, and I think James Madison is probably going to get destroyed, but yeah, they could always shock the world. In terms of the 12, I mean, obviously, in terms of the best teams in the game, you don't have the best teams, but there's a lot of conversation around, let's say, Alabama staying where they are and Notre Dame not making it to the dance and Miami making it to the dance. There's a lot of back and forth on this, and here's my very firm stance. It's not even a stance, Ricky. It's not. You want to know what it is? It's literal fact. Is the fact that with the way the system is currently set up, you have to give or take on one ruling or another. You have to. Like, that's not an opinion. That's a literal fact. And what I'm referring to is them saying that they value head-to-heads, they value conference championships, they value conference play, your wins and lot. They value all these things, right? And which is fair. You want to value them, but in this situation, they had to make a choice between either valuing the head-to-head or valuing conference play, right? That's what it was, because no one can say otherwise. Because it's like, yes, Miami beat Notre Dame in week 1. Okay? I get it. They lost to NIU in week 2, and then Notre Dame went on a run. I get it. Understand. So we're going back to the head-to-head thing here. Okay. Alabama, 3-loss team, stays at number 9. Did not move. I understand that Alabama had some hellaciously quality wins. but they lost their conference championship. BYU lost their conference championship. I am one of the most notorious BYU haters. I can't stand the damn school because they always get glazed to the moon and they're always overrated as hell. That's a fact. They are overrated as hell. But at the end of the day, they lost their conference championship in similar fashion as Alabama did in getting their shit beat. BYU had one loss, and it was the team they lost to in the conference championship. Now, do I think BYU should be in the dance? No. I think they're overrated beyond hell. But they were put into a situation of, do you value that head-to-head of Miami beating Notre Dame, or do you value the conference championships? That's what it was. Because Alabama not moving from 9 is proof of that. Because I understand why they're at 9. I get it. You're not going to put James Madison and Tulane higher than 11 and 12. Miami, you're not going to put them above Alabama based on quality of wins, right? I understand all of it, but like I said, the current system, the way it's set up, it's not a perfect system, and there will always be one thing or another that is wrong or incorrect or subjective or surrendering the thoughts on conference championships or surrendering the head-to-head. There's one thing or another, right? Like based on the seeding, I understand how we got here. James Madison and Tulane being the group's lowest, the lowest ranking kind of here. Miami, you're not going to rank them below them. And again, Alabama, I understand their 3 losses, but do you really want to rank them below Miami when Alabama has proven they are a better team than Miami just based on the quality of wins? Do you know what I'm saying? Like the way the system is now, there's no perfect way to get it done, and you have to surrender something. Head-to-head, conference play.
Exactly.
Like that's what sucks about the current setup. Let me catch up on some chat real quick, if you don't mind, because I see people chatting.
Go ahead.
Let's see. We got Jacob over here. Criteria that needs to be added is all conference championships in a team must have 3 or less losses on a season. We got Thomas Watson over here. Agreed. 5 automatic qualifiers create pity slots. We've seen Boise State, TCU, Cincy, etc. Other group of 5 teams field a truly top 12 team. Those teams get in, not the yearly conference champions. That's solely for the win. But Bama had 3 rushing yards and still didn't get beat as bad as BYU. Pretending year to year that BYU could be better is disingenuous. Let the Cougs build a record and win some big games maybe next year. -3. And then Tyler says turtle hot dogs. Shout out to that. No, I mean,
So
again, there's no perfect criteria. There's not. Now, I have my solutions, which we'll get to, but as it stands now, there's no perfect fix. Even going to 16 teams is not the perfect fix. Ricky, what's your thoughts on all this?
okay, so first of all, it's
Ricky, I think we're losing you, bud.
Notre Dame has nothing. Hang on.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can figure out something real quick.
Ricky's driving, all right, for folks at home wanting to know, all right? He's going through the woods.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. You actually
Okay,
sound
you can
very
hear me.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah,
sound
and
very clear.
I'm actually about 5 minutes away from the house anyway. So
Okay.
as soon as I get home, like I'll have much better. I'll probably get on my laptop. All right. So anyways, because I have much better signal through my Wi-Fi. So all right. So number 1, let's start with Notre Dame.
Yep.
Notre Dame has nothing to complain about. The only thing they have to complain about is how the ranking system works. I understand that part.
Sure.
Because usually when teams start losing games, like when they start losing games, like let's just take Notre Dame for example. Notre Dame lost their first 2 games of the year and dropped, and they built the ranking back up.
Yep.
However, Miami, on the other hand, losing to SMU, dropped. Who was their second loss? Was it Louisville?
Correct. It was Louisville.
Right, and then all of a sudden they drop. So the rankings are basically based off when you're winning and when you're losing, basically is how that works. Because I even have an argument that Ohio State shouldn't be number 2, but they are, and that's fine. I have no problem with that.
That's a
So,
wild take.
It's based on, well, we'll get to that later. So anyways, so when you look at one of the things that the NCAA, and we can learn from the NCAA's mistakes, we can learn from the NBA's, we can learn from the NCAA's, basically their entire criteria. Let's go back to the NCAA tournament just for basketball for a second. Now, I understand that this is a terrible football show, but we can always use basketball as a reference here because that's basically the same criteria that they're trying to get at. There was a time a few years ago that the NCAA said, we're going to stop basing our rankings. We're going to stop basing the criteria just on what happens later on in the season. Because what would happen is you would have some of these teams go on a run, and then but you look at the beginning of the season and they were absolute dog crap. It's like, we got to look at the overall body of work. When you look at the overall body of work, there was a team years ago called VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. They got in off a crappy resume because of what they did at the beginning of the season versus what they did in their conference championship, and they ended up going on a Final Four run, getting beat in the Final Four. Now, with that being said, when we look at the overall body of work, Miami has one quality win the entire year. That was USC.
Correct.
The rest of the teams that they played were crap. They weren't very good. They didn't have a very tough schedule at all. And I blame Notre Dame, not because of the simple fact is that they have their 5-game deal, however many game deal it is with the ACC. I blame Notre Dame because they're independent. They can schedule whoever they want.
Yep.
And number two, we've been saying this for years. Go into a conference. You have a conference for everything but football. And you are now in a new time and a new age where, Notre Dame has got to be in a conference. Now, I want to flash back to COVID, for example, for a minute, because one of the things that Notre Dame's AD, he's blasted the ACC for this for the last couple of days because they really pushed for Miami to get in over them. Well, Miami beat you head to head. I don't care when it was. It's football. That's the thing with football. It's part of it. You win some, you lose some. Y'all got beat, plain and simple. But the ACC at 2020 said, hey, we're going to let you play in our conference. If you have a chance to win a conference championship. And guess what?
They did.
The doors have been open ever since, and they won that year, and the doors have been open ever since, and yet they still refuse to get into a conference. This is 100% solely on Notre Dame. And for those of y'all who say they should have gotten in over Alabama because Alabama got blown out by Georgia, let's not forget, not only did Alabama have more ranked quality wins than just about anybody in the country, they also beat Georgia the first time at Georgia. They beat Georgia at Georgia earlier in the season. So let's not remember that was a rematch. Let's remember that was a rematch. And they're basically tied 1-1 no matter what the score says. BYU lost to Texas Tech twice. They lost to Texas Tech twice. That's why they got put out.
Yep.
And they got blown out twice by Texas Tech. That's why Bama got in over Notre Dame. Point blank, point range, period. It's not the SEC bias thing, crap, or whatever it is. It's because Alabama's in a conference. Notre Dame is not.
Well, hang on. Let's not pretend like there's not SEC bias. Let's not pretend like that's not a thing.
Okay, and this is kind of where push comes to shove, though. Tell me why all three rankings have more SEC teams in than any other conference.
Mickey's Wacky Bucks. Like, if you want the answer, that's why. Like, look, Disney owns ESPN. ESPN has SEC Network. Disney wants money. Okay, like of course they have more of a natural biasness. Like, let's not pretend like that's not the case. Look, I don't disagree with you in cases like BYU stinks, Notre Dame hasn't had a quality. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just simply, let's add a little asterisk of, okay, yes, there is biasness, but but also there's more quality wins. Like, let's now acknowledge both sides of the street here, because that's a fact.
Okay.
You can't say it's not.
Okay. But at the same time, look at the whole entire scenario. You have a committee that's full of athletic directors, past whatever administrator. There's all kinds of people. Even freaking Jeff Long is on the committee.
And who's been leading that recently?
No, I get it. I get that. But what I'm saying is, you have the AP, who's full of sports writers and broadcasters.
Who's idiots?
You have coaches. The coaches poll. They're almost neck and neck versus one. They may switch around a few things here and there, but you have coaches who are saying the same exact thing. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, there is consistency mainly across the board when it comes to these rankings. And so,
I mean, I agree, but again, there is SEC biasness. There's no discrediting that. I mean, just look at where game day goes all the times, and who's game day with? ESPN. Who owns ESPN? Disney. So naturally, Disney wants to make money. That's what they're here to do. And then of course SEC Network and ESPN.
I mean,
again, on the field. Look, I test. I think Notre Dame is always overrated. I think BYU is always overrated. All right. Alabama's had a lot of good quality wins. There's no arguments on any of that. I'm just stating the argument. Hey, there is biasness. Let's pump the brakes. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you on all the other takes, but like with the college football playoff, man, like leaving Alabama, not moving them from 9, that puts in a situation where it creates the narrative, do conference championship games matter? Because they lost and did not move. That's the argument. But again, I understand because of the way the system is now where, well, Duke pulled the upset and they weren't ranked and they were really terrible, and the ACC is stupid with how you get into the conference championship, just like the Mountain West is stupid and just like the MAC is stupid. Bring divisions back. I said what I said. Look, I understand you can't, like, from a quality on the field standpoint, you can't justify putting Bama over Miami or Tulane or putting them under. I apologize. Putting them under Miami, Tulane, or James Madison. I get it. But, like, again, you are creating different narratives of, well, hey, Alabama lost their conference championship just like BYU, and BYU kicked out. Alabama didn't move. And then it's like, okay, Miami jumped Notre Dame when Notre Dame was consistently ahead of Miami in the rankings because all of a sudden now they want to apply head-to-head. Okay, if you want to apply head-to-head, can we not talk about Alabama getting beat by a terrible Florida State team week 1? Well, that's week 1. So was Miami and Notre Dame. You see, like, I'm not trying to defend Notre Dame needs to be in there, as I hate Notre Dame. I hate BYU. All I'm saying is the system is broken. College football is broken. The FBS specifically is what's broken. The FBS is the only level of play that makes things overly complicated, where it's a constant give or take. And here we are in year 2 of the 12-team playoff. We already had to make changes from 1 to 2, and we're going to have to make changes from 2 to 3 because there is no perfect setup and no one's got it right. Right? Like, that's the problem that we have with the college football playoff. Do we have the correct 12 based on the criteria that I guess they have technically? But again, you're discrediting a week 1 head-to-head with Alabama, and you're crediting a week 1 head-to-head with Miami. So it's and you're crediting a conference championship loss with Alabama and doing the same thing with BYU. You see my point? Like, look, I understand Bama's had a lot more quality wins. We don't have to talk about that. We don't have to talk about wins versus wins. I get it. I get Alabama's had so much better than Miami and Notre Dame. I'm just saying that with the criteria, dude, it's broken. There's no solution that they have in place for this. And going to 16 teams like the Notre Dame AD wants and is pushing for, and so is everyone else, I'll go ahead and say it. That's not the solution either. And Notre Dame basically getting their hand held where they're kind of guaranteed to be in the college football playoff going forward as long as they're ranked, I also think that's bullshit. Like, again, there's no correct setup now. FBS is broken beyond measure. And, like, will they fix it? No, I don't think they will, because I think they've already continued to prove that they don't know what the hell they're doing, because they can't have a hard set in the stone plan on how to fix this with the group of 5 stuff, with the powers, the automatic qualifiers, the rankings. They've proven that they haven't gotten it right twice. Can they get it right 5 years from now? Hopefully. But it's going to continue to change. I mean, like, there's no way. Like, I honestly think next year we're going to have 16 teams. We'll have 2 years of 12 teams, and then we're going on to 16 next year. That's what I think is going to happen. And everyone's going to think it's the perfect solution, and it's not. Like, and I also want to stress for my complaining for the listeners, I'm a Miami guy, and I'm complaining about this. Like, I got a dog in the fight. Miami's been my team for years. I got a dog in the fight, and that's why I'm complaining. This makes no sense. Like, I understand why they got in, but it does. Like, everything about the CFP doesn't make sense, right? Like, it's broken beyond measure.
But yeah, I mean, I can see what you're saying. I really do. I back, like, a lot of what you said made sense. And yes, I think a lot of the times you when you lose early, like an Alabama did with Florida State. But once more, that schedule building, they had they were able to back that.
Did we lose Rick again? Rick. And we might have lost him. All right. We're gonna go to an ad break. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with Rick, and then we'll come back. Hey. Do you like caffeine? Are you of the age of at least 18? Then maybe check out Rogue Energy. It's really good. Do you need to hydrate more? Then probably want to start with water. But if you want something that tastes good and hydrates you, then try Rogue Hydration. Do you need to chill more? Then try Rogue Chill. Do you need energy? Then drink the energy. It's really good. We have a referral link and a promo code Sparky3. You can get 10% off your order. Yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, okay. All right, we're back, and Ricky's on his laptop now, so all is saved, all is well. We're we're hopefully back on track. At Lord have mercy. All right, Rick, continue on your point.
So basically, and unlike you said, you make every good valid point about the system, how the system's going, everything like that, how it's broken, things of that nature. But that's kind of where scheduling comes in at. And I'm telling you, if Notre Dame, the whole solution for Notre Dame is to get into a conference. That's the whole solution right there. Alabama, yes, they lost early on to Florida State. I thought Alabama was going to be crap the entire year, but then they were able to back it up and say, here we go. Notre Dame was not able to do that. They had one quality win the entire season, and their schedule was, I mean, I understand they're ranked 42nd. There's no way. There's no way considering the teams that they played this year. It was absolutely terrible. I mean, I think the next quality win they had on their schedule was what, Notre Dame? I mean, I'm sorry, Navy, maybe.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a crap schedule.
Right. No, scheduling is obviously a big thing, and as we know with all levels of football, it's like win the games you're supposed to win, don't lose the games you're supposed to win. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
like the thing that annoys me about the whole current system is, and I don't think anyone can disagree, college football is one of the biggest hand-holding situations that exist with how rankings go. It is. You can't tell me it's not. And I know you can argue, well, the NFL is kind of the same way. You know, I mean, look, we had a 7-9 team host a playoff game. Yeah, and that playoff game gave us the beast quake. So calm down. But the NFL has always been clear and true: win your division and then play well. You know what I mean? It's that simple. Win your division and or play well, and you can get in the dance. You know, the college football playoffs, man, I feel like it's always hand-holding for this, hand-holding for this. I mean, look what's happened with Notre Dame right now, where they're basically being promised to get in the college football playoff as long as they're ranked, right? You know, same thing with Alabama getting in as a 3-loss team, which I think that's a first, right? Like that's a first the 3-loss team's gotten in.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and they had 3 losses last year, but they didn't make the conference championship.
that's right. So it's like college football is the number one like most hand-holding sport whenever it comes to how rankings go and basically the playoffs, the off season. And I don't think the easy solution, honestly, is just simply is getting into a conference. While for specifically Notre Dame, yes, it is. And scheduling, I don't think it's that simple, and I also don't think it's that simple for it to go to 16 teams. Personally,
Well,
I
the
think
biggest issue, though, Alex, is think about this. The biggest issue right now is you have so many freaking teams
Yep.
joining a conference is not even funny. It's absolutely asinine.
I hate it.
The way that college football, I hate it too. And that's kind of where the criteria that they choose for 12 teams, like you said, it's just mind-boggling. And I think in some ways, going to 16 teams is a broaden the field a little bit. Yeah, but it's not going to fix everything.
No.
The whole scenario is we're right now the way the criteria is set up. It's set up for the 12 most deserving teams, not necessarily the 12 best teams.
Yep.
And I think until we figure that criteria out, the system itself is going to be broken, like you said. But I think it's on its way. You know what I'm saying? I think because we're learning something new every single year. I think eventually, like you said, probably by year 4, year 5, we'll see. Eventually, it may not seem as broken as what it is now.
Yeah. Well, I want to pitch you my solution to college football. Okay.
Okay.
I want to submit to the world my application to become the FBS commissioner. All right. Because that's what I'm here to do is I'm here to make college football, hashtag do better. That's what we're here to do is hashtag do better. So I have come up with 3 different solutions where one way or another, I'm going to please somebody. All right. Because everyone's going to have disagreements. All right. I got 3 different damn solutions so everybody can shut up. Now, let me go ahead and establish a few core points because these core points will stretch across all 3 ideas, okay? Core point number 1, Army-Navy week goes away. It needs to go. It needs to go. And I say this for 2 reasons, Ricky, and I'm being very legitimate. Maybe 3. I'm losing track of my head. So, reason number 1, look at the situation that we were having almost unfold this year. Navy was going on a run. What if Navy pulled it off? Went to the American, won the American. They were ranked. They didn't have the losses they had. What if that happened? They made it as the group of 5 rep and then lost to Army. What if that happens? Would it have happened? Realistically, probably not. Navy's the better team. But you have to ask that question. In the current landscape, with Navy being in a conference, I believe, Army's in a conference as well. Air Force has been in one. That week has got to go for Army and Navy. It has to. Especially when you have a situation we almost had this year with Navy when they were going on a run. Okay, I'm not going to trash the game itself that, the game's going to suck anyway. I'm not going to trash that. I'm just saying because of the current landscape, it's got to go. Further adding why it has to go in the current landscape. Right now, our 4 teams that are on a bye, they will have not played a single game for a month because of the current setup and when the playoff games start. That you can't happen. The week needs to go. My solution, and I'm not even going to say move it to Rivals Week, like maybe a knee-jerk would be, because if you move it to Rivals Week, I'm sorry, it gets lost in the shuffle because you got the game, you got the Iron Bowl, the Egg Bowl, all these other games that people are going to be more tuned into. My pitch, kick off college football, week 0, the literal first game played. That way you're still having a spot for it, it's still doing its thing, and you're no longer disrupting the college football playoffs because that is the current day and age. Unfortunately, Army-Navy week, it's outdated for the current landscape of college football. That's got to go. So that's core point 1 that is across all 3 of my points. Core point 2 that's across everything. You got to have play-in games and you got to have seed matchups. I'll explain what seed matchups is in here soon. And this happens during conference championship week, so you don't have a bunch of teams sitting on their ass twiddling their thumbs. The expansion is at minimum needs to be 16 teams. Also, NCAA people needs to step up and firmly establish going forward, not us as fans, but them as the NCAA needs to establish powers and groups. Basically, I'm referring to, is there only 4 powers? Are you going to go ahead and grant Pac their old power status, even though they don't deserve it? At least in football. They're going to be damn good in other sports, though. Do you elevate American to power status? Or do you do 6 groups and 4 powers? That needs to be established. And then powers and groups both need to be recognized in some form, because if they're not, what's the point of them all being FBS play? At that point, you need to do my pitch of breaking it all up, which is part of this process. So let's go ahead and look at format 1, which this format is basically the current kind of setup we have now. We're going to 16 teams. We have the committee. We have some similar structure in terms of the rankings, okay? So this is how I've set everything up for this, okay? So I did do a simulator here, basically, of where let's pretend the pack exists, all right? Let's pretend it exists. So also one thing to establish across all 3 points. My pack championship game was Boise State and San Diego State, because Boise State obviously won the Mountain West, and the next highest ranking future Pac team was San Diego State. And my Mountain West championship is UNLV and New Mexico, because UNLV went to the Mountain West, UNLV, and then New Mexico was the next highest. So my Pac champion is Boise State because they won, and UNLV is my Mountain West champion because they went to the Mountain West. Makes sense? That's across all three, just for hypothetical purposes to kind of forecast future years, right? All right. You have all the conference championship games take place. This is the way it's going to be set up. Who gets in? Your top 5 highest ranked champions. I'm not going to change that format. But here's what I will change. The top 3 highest ranked conference championship runner-ups. That is going to be a change. One group of 5 is going to be guaranteed. I'm going to keep that as well. The next 6th highest ranked teams that are not in conference championships, you're in the dance. Congratulations. And then you're going to have 2 play-in games. So what's all going to take place throughout this championship weekend? Let me break it down for you. You're going to have all your conference championships, and you're going to have your next 6th highest ranked teams that are not in conference championships play seed matchups. Now, what those are is you win or lose, that is who you're going to be above in the dance, okay? So the matchups that we have for the seed matchups is I paired these up based on closest rank, not furthest rank. So we have 6th ranked Ole Miss going to Oregon, 8th ranked OU going to Texas A&M, and 12th ranked Miami going to 10th ranked Notre Dame. All right. Now, if someone disagrees and you want to go Oregon versus Miami, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. You do what you want. You have those, all 6 of those teams are guaranteed to the 16-team dance, but they're playing for seeding. So in my hypothetical, Oregon beats Ole Miss. Let's say OU beat Texas A&M. Miami beats Notre Dame. So we have a couple upsets, and we have one you'd expect to win. But then you got 2 play-in games. So who's going to be your play-in teams? The next highest-ranked teams. So you're going to have USC and Texas going at it, and Utah and Vandy. So that's 13th ranked, 14th, 15th, and 16th ranked. Let's say Texas and Vandy win. Congratulations, guys. You played in, you got in the dance. So in terms of rankings, the rankings are going to go into the similar criteria that we have set up now with college football playoffs. So here's your seeding for this situation. Indiana's the number 1 seed because they beat Ohio State. But hey, Ohio State's been number 1 all year long, so they're going to still be number 2. Georgia's going to be number 3. Texas Tech's going to be number 4. Oregon 5, OU 6, Miami 7, Ole Miss 8, Texas A&M 9, Notre Dame 10, Alabama as the conference championship loser gets into the dance at 11, BYU at 12, Texas at 13, Vandy, and then of course your final 2 seeds is Tulane and James Madison, because things are still going to play out the way they were, where Duke pulls off the upset to Virginia, so you got to elevate another group of 5 because it's highest ranking conference champions that get into the dance. So that's solution 1 is include, and I just gave a full hypothetical to give an example of how this can work. Is you have to have seeding matchups for the highest ranked teams as well as some play-in games. Play for your chance to get into the dance. Win or lose, baby. Win or lose, win or go home. Let's rock. So that's solution number 1. That is the current format solution. All right, now let's go to the second solution, Rick, and you can give your thoughts on which one you like the best at the end, all right? And this is going to be the one you're not going to like. This is going to be the one no one's going to like. But you know what? Here's my stance on this. Here we go. We want to talk about conferences. We want to make everything all important about conferences. Then by God, make all conferences important. 24-team playoff. Every conference champion gets in. Yes, Kennesaw State, welcome to the dance. Western Michigan, welcome to the dance. Oh, Alex, there's going to be so many blowouts. We can't let these guys in here. All right, well, number 1, let's point out some facts here. 2015, Oregon 59, fuck Florida State 20. 2015, Ohio State 42, Oregon 20. 2016, Clemson 37, OU 17. 2016, Alabama 38, Michigan State 0. 2017, Alabama 24, Washington 7. Oh, well, you know, those aren't all big dog teams normally. Okay, 2017, Clemson 31, Ohio State 0. Huh, would you look at that? Blowouts happen all the time. Calm down. And let's not pretend like maybe on a rare occasion, Western Michigan could pull off the upset. Oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, really? NIU beat Notre Dame. Appalachian State, who is an FCS team, beat Michigan. Let's not pretend like it doesn't happen. Now, let me stress, is there going to be a lot of blowouts? Absolutely. These teams are not equipped to be in the dance right now. I hear you, but give it time, right? Because you're generating revenue. How much revenue are these teams getting to get into the dance this year? $4 million. Shout out to James Madison, Tulane. That $4 million, that's gonna feel real nice, just like it would feel real nice to Kennesaw State and Western Michigan. I get it; these teams are not on the same level, right? But hey, guess what? They're all part of FBS play, so let's acknowledge them, right? All right, let's break through the process. All conference champions get in. Those are 10 out of 24 teams locked up. Who gets in after that? The top 5 ranked runner-ups get in after that. Then you have the next 6 highest ranked still. I'm keeping that energy. And those next highest ranked 6 are going to be doing the seeding games. And then you're going to have 3 play-in teams get into the dance. So how's this going to look, Rick? Well, let me answer the question for you. Based on how everything went down conference championship weekend, our winners getting in is Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Duke, UNLV, Tulane, James Madison, Western Michigan, Kennesaw State, and Boise State. And who is getting in alongside them from the conference championships? Ohio State, Alabama, BYU, Virginia, and North Texas. Hey, congratulations, guys. All right, who's going to be our seeding? Our seeding matchups actually stay the same. It's going to be Ole Miss, Oregon, OU, Texas A&M, Miami, Notre Dame. Welcome to the dance. All 6 you get in. All you're doing is playing for the seeding. And then lastly, the 3 play-in games. You got Michigan and Texas, Arizona and Vandy, USC and Utah. These are all the next highest ranked teams. Let's just say Texas, Vandy, and USC gets in. Now, in terms of rankings, you got 1 of 2 ways that you can go. You can go the current style, where it's really based on the quality of wins, which shoves all the group of 5 teams down to the bottom, which makes a lot of sense. Or you can prioritize conference championships and conference play, so we stop having dumbass situations of Cal and Stanford joining the fucking ACC, or Oregon and Washington and USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten. We can prioritize, hey, all conferences matter, brother. Win your conference. Promote good conference play. And I get it. A lot of these conferences can't compete right now. But what about 10 years from now? That's the question. 10 years from now, of these guys making it to the dance, right? You know, you're going to promote more situations where players are going to be fine with staying at teams, because we can all agree that's not a thing anymore. A situation like Ashton Genty, who flat out said, yeah, I got offered more money to go somewhere else, but I like what we're building right here. That doesn't happen all the time, not in today's age of college football. So if you can further increase the revenue for these group of 5 teams, like, hey, win the conference, then that helps promote a healthier college football landscape, because you want to say group of 5 is in the FBS, you need to treat them like they're in the FBS. All right, I understand everyone just wants to see the best of the best. All right, you know what? Solution number 3 then. Let's hop over to that. If you want to see best of the best, go back to what I said weeks prior. Split up the group, split up the powers. Don't give a shit. Split it up. Reshape college football. Division 1 is your power teams, whoever you're going to deem as powers. Division 2, going to be your group teams. Division 3 is the current FCS. Division 4, current Division 2. Division 5, current Division 3. Look, you don't want to include group of 5. You want the best only. Break up the damn playoffs then. So for this scenario that I have for you, Rick, I want to go ahead and give my personal opinion establishment off the top. So I've got a few different setups for you. The one thing that I have set up is that I have set up where, for my scenarios where we have 5 powers and 5 groups, congratulations, American Conference. You've been promoted to power status. Sorry, Pac, you're promoted to group. Is it going to be that way in real life? Probably not, but that's what I did for my scenario. So I've got different scenarios of where you have 4 powers and 5 powers and 6 groups and 5 groups for these playoff scenarios. So let's say there's only 4 powers and we have a power championship setup, right? 16 teams. You got the Big Ten, you got the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC. It all went down how it did. Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Duke. Then you've got my seeding games. Those seeding games stay the same. And you got my play-in games. Those play-in games stay the same. Now, who gets in? All the conference champions get in. Everyone who goes to the conference championship, you get in. Congratulations, Duke. Congratulations, Virginia. You're in the dance. Then you're going to have the next 6 highest. Then you're going to have play-in games. So the way the 16 would work, and I did have the 16 set up in similar ranking status: Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Duke, Ohio State, Oregon, OU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, Vandy, and Virginia. That is going to be my setup of how it is. And yes, I had Duke at the 4 seed because I'm trying to promote conferences are important. If this is a Power 4 only playoff, you need to acknowledge all the conferences and promote conference play. I'm taking a page out of the NFL book. I know a lot of people don't like the NFL ruling where a team with a losing record can host a playoff game, but hey, If you don't like it, win your damn conference. Play better. That's why we play the game. We play better, do better. Now let's say we got the 5 powers, and in my case, the American Conference is dubbed my 5th. So the way it's set up is going to be the same thing. All 5 of the conference champs. I'm going to have the next 3 highest ranked conference runner-up. So that's 8 teams. The next 6th highest ranked doing the play-in seeding, and then we only have 2 play-ins here. So congratulations to Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Duke, and Tulane. You guys are in the dance. From there, it'd be the next 3 highest. So that would be Alabama, that'd be BYU, and that would be, who was the other one? Ohio State, yeah. So that's going to be the next 3 that gets in. And then you're going to have the same 6 of Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, OU, Miami, and Notre Dame. Then you're going to have the same play-in games, which I still think Texas and Vandy would be those 2 that get in. All right, let's go over to the group of 5. Let's see how electric this is going to look, brother. This is going to be great. Now, obviously, in terms of rankings, I didn't do any rankings because this is obviously be a hypothetical sense of like we break everything up. So conference championships. This is going to be if we have 6 groups and PAC is officially dubbed as a group and American stays as a group. So this is why I established earlier what my PAC championship and Mountain West championship would look like. So Boise State, congratulations, you won the PAC, you're in the dance. UNLV, same thing. Tulane, James Madison, Western Michigan, and Kennesaw State, all of you are in the dance. All 6 conference championships get in the dance. Then it's going to be the top 4 next conference runner-ups. And there's going to be 6 play-in games. And I went based off the best records of all group of 5s, which I did dub UConn as a group of 5, but I remained them independent. So the teams that be competing for the dance is UConn, Toledo, Ohio, Western Kentucky, Old Dominion, Southern Miss, Fresno, Hawaii, shout out, go Bows, Navy, USF, ECU, and Memphis. A lot of good American teams. Shout out to that. That's why I think American would potentially be dubbed that power. And then let's say there's only 5 groups and PAC is dubbed as the group. American, you're bumped up to power. Congratulations. You got Boise State, UNLV, James Madison, Western Michigan, and Kennesaw State all in the dance. All 10 teams in the conference championship, you get in. Congratulations. And then you have your, basically the way the conference championships are going to work for the group in this case is you guys are essentially competing for seeding at that point, right? Like, you're going to have all your rankings and stuff. It's going to be ranking in similar fashion. And then you're also going to have 6 play-in teams get in, and the play-in teams would be UConn, Toledo, Ohio, Central Michigan, West Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, Missouri State, FIU, Old Dominion, Southern Miss, Fresno, and Hawaii. Go Bows. So, look, there are solutions in place. I'm submitting my application to be the FBS commissioner. You can either, if you want to keep the current format where it's like, okay, hey, we're group, we're going to slightly let you into the party a little bit, and we're going to do guaranteed 1 group. We're going to do the 5 automatic qualifiers. Hey, that's fine. Keep it that way. That's the way it's obviously going to stay. The other 2 are just was me having fun. That's the way it's going to stay. If that's the case, you have to include play-in games and you have to include seeding games to really determine if these teams are going to make the where they're going to be placed in the placement, as well as teams are going to make the dance, right? That's if you keep the current format. And I would also say you guarantee the 3 highest ranked conference losers, championship losers. So you're still promoting conference championship play as important, and you don't have a dumb little situation of Alabama lost, BYU lost, Alabama gets in, BYU doesn't. Again, I understand why. Alabama's a better team than BYU stinks. But all 3 of these ideas, what they do is they promote conference play. They promote conference championship play. They promote group of 5. They promote all of FBS Division I play where like, hey, we're all in this together. Let's grow together. And it promotes a healthier landscape of college football across the board where you can create more revenue for teams and continued growth for teams. Those are my 3 formats. The current format at 16 teams, the group versus the power situation where you split it up or you include all conferences. Ricky, I threw a lot at you. Hopefully you kept up. What's your immediate thoughts?
Well, I'm going to completely shock you because I thought your second one was the best scenario.
Was that all conferences? Yeah, that was all
That
conferences.
was all conferences.
Yep.
I mean, that
does shock me. Holy shit.
That's so no, because I mean, that's the way the NCAA tournament does it for basketball. The winner of each conference, tournament, really, because it'd be different for football because they don't have a conference tournament.
Yeah.
But the winner of each conference, you're automatically in.
Yep.
Then everybody else is an at-large bid technically, and you're seeded based off of basically your schedule, your ranking, things of that nature. And believe it or not, Alex, I actually created just for fun. I didn't do it this year, obviously, but a couple years ago, I actually created what a 64-team playoff would look like. would look like, and it included the FCS conferences.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
remember
included
that.
all of Division One football. Yes, it wouldn't be great football. We couldn't do all of Division One as far as FBS versus FCS. We couldn't do that, but you could easily do that for the FBS level.
Yeah.
Easily do that for the FBS level. Who cares if you have a 24 team playoff?
Yep.
Who cares if you have a 32 team playoff? Make it legitimate, because all
Yep.
you have to do, just on top of that, you could cut down a game or two, start a week or two
Sure.
earlier. Then you're screwed. Then you wouldn't have to have a conference. You wouldn't necessarily have to have a conference championship if you didn't want to, but you're still cutting out a lot of nonsense.
Yep.
That's just big money revenue anyway.
Yep.
What are you going to make more money off of? Having a bunch of playoff games or having a bunch of bowl games? And obviously the bowls are going away anyway.
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
that it's
they're
looking at
dying.
anyway. The bowls are done. They're going away anyways. I absolutely love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I look, I'm telling you, like, I understand for a lot of SEC fans and Big Ten fans, you know, the power fans. I get it. You don't want to have your team competing against Western Michigan. I understand. But, like, look, if they're all part of the same play, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, Western Michigan's on the same level as Ohio State. Well, maybe not in terms of skill level and revenue and size, but they are FBS teams. While it's stupid to me that we have FBS and then it's like FBS 1, FBS, like FBS 1A, FBS 1B. You know what I mean? That's dumb. Like, just break it up or include everybody, right? Because, look, I understand it wouldn't be super great right now, but, dude, the college football playoff already has blowouts. They already do. Like, it's not a new thing. Ohio State lost 31-0 one year. Like, it already happens, right? With powers. And don't act like groups don't pull off upsets, man. Like, how electric, like, if you're a fan of football, not Georgia, not Bama, not, you know, Ohio State, not Michigan, but if you're a football fan, you can't tell me you would be pumped through the moon if you tune into the playoffs and Western Michigan beats Oregon or something. You can't tell me that wouldn't be electric. Come on. Come on.
Alex, you know, and Alex, is something I mentioned to Brad a few weeks ago whenever we talked about this, whenever we talked about the playoffs, you know, in general. Look at high school. Let's take high school for an example, just in the state of Arkansas. I don't care what conference you're in. Top 4, top 5 get it. Well, some class 5A is the only one that's top 4.
Yep.
Class 6A, class 7A is top 6, which
Yep.
that's because they don't have many in the classifications it is. And then it's top 5 for the rest of the conferences. You could go to a similar format where you say, hey, top 4 in each conference, top 2 for group of 5, whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying, like, there are so many scenarios that you can use to still get that revenue that you make for the bowl games and make up for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People are more impressed. I'm more impressed with teams who make a playoff run versus someone who wins a bowl game or two. Like that just to me it's just more impressive, and it just shows the grit that they have. I love that. But of all the 3 ones that pitched, the second one, in my opinion, including all the conferences, was the best.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because I thought you were going to shoot that down. I thought you were going to shoot that down. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, no, dude. I mean, high schools do this all the time.
Right.
I mean, I'm used to that format. I'm all for that format. I mean, this year, just at the Class 5A classification, we had a 1 seed versus a 3 seed. Yeah, they were the same conference, but you had a 1 seed versus a 3 seed. No, I'm sorry, they were different conferences. But you had a 1 seed versus a 3 seed. You know, stuff like that happens. I mean, you look at the NCAA, take a book from the NCAA tournament. We have and I understand basketball is different. I understand that. I understand that the physicality of basketball is not the same physicality as football, and I get that. But at the same time, we have double-digit seeds winning every year in the NCAA tournament. Why not make it more interesting to where all the conferences are involved? They have somewhat of an equal playing field. And then your at-large teams are basically what they do for the NCAA tournament now. It's based off your schedule. It's based off your quality wins. It's based off your resume. It's perfect. It's a perfect system.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, again, because it promotes a healthier landscape. Because we're not in a healthy landscape anymore. We're just not. It's very unhealthy the way it's set up now with NIL and the transfer portal and so heavy favoritism. Because, like, even though we have 4 confirmed powers, you and I both can agree. It's what I just said about FBS, how it's like 1A and 1B in just the FBS alone. It's the same thing for the conferences. You have 1A of SEC and Big Ten, and then you have 1B of Big 12 and ACC. That's a fact. You can't tell me otherwise. So it's like promote better conference play across the board. So two things. I also want to establish for the listeners like that may hear this, like, that feels like way too many games. Well, that's also why I said eliminate the Army Navy week. Move that to week 0. I'll let that kick off college football, which would be an electric kickoff in my opinion. So I actually dated everything for you. So December 6th is when all the conference championships took place. You're going right into the playoffs after that. Like up front, you're going right into the playoffs. If you want, and with I think the 16 teams, it makes sense where no one has a bye. So number ones, you're going in at it right out of the gate. I think the 24 seed, I think that by default had buys. But this is how it's set up. This weekend, December 13th, round 1 of the playoffs. December 20th weekend, round 2. December 27th, round 3. January 3rd, which would kind of be leading us almost into the championship. Championship's usually like what? January 9th, like around like that Monday range, right? So the 3rd would be the semifinals, and you could either go ahead and go straight into the championship with the January 10th weekend, or you could take a page out of NFL books, take a 1-week break, and have it January 17th. Either way, you're maybe adding 1 week onto the season, like in terms of how long it is if you choose to take that bye week. But if you choose not to, you're ending it around the same time you do anyway. Now, I know that sets a lot of games for college. I get it. I hear that argument all the time. I still think you could possibly just look at kicking it down to 10 games a season for an expansion of like 24 teams. Or you can just go ahead and prep this out, go all the way out for that long, right? So that's a possible timeline for anyone. Like, that's too long. Well, if you get rid of that extra week where nobody's doing anything but 2 teams and start everything there, and then just kind of run through it, you're going to finish around the same time college football finishes anyway. So, again, I think one core thing that has to happen is Army-Navy week needs to go. Yeah, I understand the historical importance. It needs to go, especially when you have cases where both these teams are in conferences. Because, again, what if Navy went on a run? What if Navy went 12-0 and beat Memphis? I think they lost to Memphis. Let's say they played Tulane. I don't remember their full schedule, but I know they had 2 losses against good teams. They might have been, I can't remember if it was UCF or Tulane or whoever it was. But let's say they won those games. They got ranked. They won the American. They're in the playoffs. And then let's say they randomly lose to Army. Then you have a whole big conversation on your hands. So that week needs to go. But no, Tyler, he sent me his kind of pitch as well. I just noticed this whenever I was going through my big monologue. Tyler said 16-team bracket, the G5/6, get in there in their own play-in games. Top 6 champs and the 2 highest ranked runner-ups, or the closest loss in the conference championship would be so you have 8 teams there get in. Then you have the 4 winners of those games become 4 seeds. The remaining top 12 get 1 through 3 seeds. For 24, he said the same idea, just make 4 winners of play-in games as the last 4 seeds. So that's kind of his pitch is, 16 teams, basically the groups get their own play-in games, and the top 6 champs get in, so bumping up from 5 to 6, and the 2 highest ranked runner-ups get in. So slightly different than mine. I kept the top 5 mentality, but top 3 ranked highest runner-ups. So kind of the same thing, slightly tweaked. I mean, I can see what he's pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean the main thing, dude, it's got to change. We got to change it, right? Like it's got to change. And like I said, I think it's going to change in one off season. I mean, do you think it's going to change like next year? Do you think we're going to 16 teams, Rick?
I don't know if it's going to be next year.
At least the year after, for sure.
They kind of held off the 12 teams.
Yeah.
A year longer than what they wanted to go. I could see 2 years.
Yeah. No, I mean it's going to be around the corner. And like I said, if you do, you got to have the play-in games and you got to have the seeding matchups, right? Like these teams can't just sit on their ass that conference championship weekend. I'm strong on that mindset. They cannot sit on their ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, no, that's
like,
got to happen.
I mean, it's like you said. There's a lot of these teams. It's going to be wild before they even play.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's crazy to me. Like when I saw like the schedule and like playoffs games start like what the 18th, 19th, 20th, somewhere in that range, and then you have these 4 teams with a bye. They're not playing again until like the 27th. Are you kidding? Like, dude, that's crazy. Like playoffs have got to start sooner. It's a weird. We're in a weird time with college football where college football and the NCAA, they're trying to keep the historical greatness of the game with bowl games and stuff while trying to navigate including the playoffs. And it's just unfortunately not working because it's like what you said a second ago. Bowl games are dying. They're on their way out the door. And I agree.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they are. And I understand that's a great thing, but with the college football playoff, like that's what's important. Like you can't hold off all these games this many weeks. Like that's crazy. And another solution you could always do is you could take another page out of basketball and have your own, what is it? It's the MIT tournament or NIT or whatever it is. You could do something like that too for teams that don't make the main dance. They can go make a secondary dance. And then that way for the college football playoffs and the secondary tournament, all the bowl games can still be things. Each round is a different bowl game. Keep the best bowl games across the board. You know what I mean? The ones people like the most, like you have your playoff games, which is all the big notable bowls, and then you have whatever other bowls, like the Pop-Tart Bowl can be the championship in the NIT. That'd be electric. Or the Duke's
That
Mayo.
would be electric.
Duke's Mayo or the Pop-Tart for the NIT one, that'd be electric. Because it's like the way it is now, players of old, they would like dream of having the opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl doesn't really matter anymore, does it? It's not really that important anymore.
Yeah, it hadn't mattered for a while.
Yeah, and that sucks. That sucks because stuff like that is what made college football great. So it's like we're in that awkward period of where they're trying to navigate both sides. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm officially with today's episode submitting my application to be the FBS commissioner. Ricky, do I have your vote?
Absolutely.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. ATFS is about to run this shit. I'm about to have my own committee. All of us, we're going to tear this thing up, brother.
Hey, I said it years ago. The terrible football show should be the ones that is on the committee, not
Facts.
these morons that we have right now.
Facts. No. Do you have any other thoughts on all the college football playoff stuff? Because if not, we can probably look to start winding down the show and getting on out of here. Because that's all we need to talk about today, which is college football playoffs. I mean, do you have any other thoughts that you really want to expand on with anything?
Nah, man, I think we touched base on just about everything that needed to be mentioned with the college football playoff. I mean, I think the one thing we can all agree on is that it's not a perfect system.
No.
Eventually, like I said, I think eventually something's going to give.
Yeah. No, it will. And I feel like this season could be the one to really push a lot of big changes. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm excited for the college football playoff. I mean, let me go back over to the reaction screen real quick. Do you have any immediate reaction on who's got like the easiest path to the championship, or who you got? Who's your favorite right now, Rick?
I don't think anybody can really argue that the favorite right now is probably still going to be Ohio State, regardless of them losing to Indiana. I mean, right there, right off the bat, they get the winner of Texas A&M Miami. I mean, defensively, they match up very, very well with both of them.
True.
I think they easily have an easy route at least to the semifinals. I do not see them losing to Georgia. I know that Georgia offensively, I think, has a little bit more talent on the offensive side of the ball, but Ohio State's defense is just really, really good. When you look at that deal, and like I said, I don't see anybody beating Ohio State going throughout the rest of the playoffs. If you look at the top side of the bracket, Indiana could lose in the second round to either Oklahoma or Alabama, and I hope not, because I'm really one of those who is I'm very, very proud that Indiana was able to get that dub.
Facts.
I didn't expect them. I was one of those. I didn't even watch the game. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Didn't even watch the game because I thought it was gonna be a blowout. But I will say this much: don't sleep on Texas Tech.
Oh, big facts.
I know they only won the Big 12. I know that we tend to kind of pride ourselves a little bit when it comes to teams that are on a hot streak or whatever the case may be. Don't sleep on Texas Tech. Texas Tech could make it to the championship game on that side of the bracket. I'm just saying it could happen.
Yeah. No, I will say on the bottom half of the bracket, I actually agree with you 100%, man. I think it's Ohio State. I think Ohio State, they have such a great path to get all the way to the championship game, and that's who I like in this scenario. I think Georgia is going to be a very tough matchup, but I think Ohio State still takes that matchup. I think Ohio State's defense is electric. Man, Indiana, they're in for a tough one. Between Oklahoma and Alabama, I got to be honest, I like Alabama more between the two of them. So if Alabama takes Oklahoma and then Alabama and Indiana, that's going to be a very tough matchup. I would like to think Indiana's going to still get the job done, but then at that point, sorry, James Madison. I mean, you're dealing with if you're Indiana, you're dealing with either the Red Raiders or the Ducks, and one of them has an elite defense with a Heisman snub linebacker, or you have an unbelievably strong offense with Oregon, right? So. But Indiana's beat Oregon before. They beat them this year. So I don't know, man. It's actually really possible you could just get a Big Ten rematch for the national championship. And, man, I would love to see Indiana take that dub because I love seeing teams that don't normally get the natty win the natty, right? Like I feel like
I'm fine, and I'm fine with that. Like I would be fine with an Indiana winning a natty. I'd be fine with the Texas Tech winning a natty. We'd all be fine if James Madison won the natty.
Oh my God, I know. No, I will also add, man, I'm Fernando Heisman. Give it to him. Lock it up. It's done. It's done. Give him the Heisman. Fernando's a dog, dude. Although, hey, your guy Diego, brother, I wish he made it to the playoffs. If he made it to the playoffs, I think Diego would legitimately win the Heisman, and he still could. Like out of the 4 finalists, like he's my second placer, man, and it's narrow. It's a razor thin margin for me between Diego and Fernando, but they are my Heisman. They are my Heisman favorites right now. And I said this weeks back when Tyler and I had our dumpster fire of a show that I like Fernando and Diego the most. Like they are my Heisman guys, which that's crazy. And also, hey, shout out to your Commodores, dude. Flipping one of the top quarterbacks in the freaking country, man. Yep. Like, dude, it's so crazy to me to go look at the recruiting right now and look at the top 3 quarterbacks and seeing Houston, Tennessee, and Vandy. What is that combo? You know what I mean? Like, Tennessee can make a little sense, but Houston and Vandy snagging 2 of the top quarterbacks in the nation? That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, and shout out to Clark Lee because I think he's staying with Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he signed. He signed an extension.
Signed that extension. I mean, it's like, really?
Yeah.
You're really going to sign an extension? You're really gonna stick around for a little bit? I mean, that says wonders, right there.
It does.
As far as being able to as far as being able to to get these to stick around at least.
Yeah.
Because you would think a guy like him would have been able to like be big for jobs and everything like that. And for whatever reason, he wants to stick around. Like that's rare.
That says a lot.
So rare.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost the same thing as what you could say about Kurt Cignati in Indy. You know what I mean? Like he re-signed immediately. Like, yeah, let's do it. Lock it up. I don't want to go to Penn State. Let's stay here. And the same thing with Clark, man. And because like I was worried for Vandy, like, oh man, what's gonna happen when Diego leaves and we kind of get these class out of here and stuff? Is Vandy gonna completely fall apart, kind of thing? But man, like you get that re-sign of the coach, you get that huge flip from Georgia to Vandy. I think it was Georgia to Vandy of Jared Curtis. And man, it gives you hope. Where it's like, man, I think Vandy might be here to stay, and that's crazy. Because just think, Rick, just a few years ago, they had a literal crane holding up their scoreboard. How times have changed.
Hey, and Alex, just think, had they beaten Bama or had they beaten Texas, they'd be in the playoff right now.
They would. And also shout out to Clark for that, taking the high road.
And truth be told, your whole play-in game makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I think they would legitimately. I'm not gonna say they'd win it all.
Yeah.
I'd pick them to win it all because they're my Commodores.
Right.
But I mean, but it's like Vanderbilt's getting like this close to the playoff, and yet my Arkansas Razorbacks still suck.
Yeah, there you go. No, I mean, like, legit, dude. Like, if we look at the play-in games, right? If it's the 24-team conference, they would be playing up against Arizona. That's a win for Vandy. And if you go to the 2-team play-in, they'd be playing against Utah. I still think that's a win for Vandy. Vandy gets in. Yeah, like you have those
matchups in favor of both games.
Exactly. So Vandy gets in the dance, baby. Vandy gets in. Let's go. Like, yeah, that gotta have play-in games. College football, NCAA, make it happen. Play-in games, seeding matchups, make it happen. We can't keep going the way things are now. We got to do better. Go pick up our shirt, do better in the merch store. Ricky, I think I'm going to hit the music. We're going to get out of here, man. No NFL picks this week. I really don't give a shit. I'll be honest with you. I don't care. All right, Ricky, last thoughts before we get out of here. What do you want to say to the world?
Well, hey, here's the thing. We still got a terrible football show coming around next week, baby. That's when the playoffs start, and I'm ready to get into some picks for that and everything like that. We have plenty of football to still talk about. And,
yep.
all that other good stuff. So, but like Alex said, do better.
Yep.
Let's go out. Let's do better. Let's do better for the world. Do better for college football.
Facts.
Do better for your families and your friends, ladies and gentlemen.
Facts. And also, Splash, you need to do better. How dare you include FCS playoffs last week for me to add to the pool, and now they're not here, and it's only Army and Navy, and I can't add FCS playoffs. How dare you, Splash? Do better. But yeah, no, do everything Ricky said and more. We appreciate you. If you made it all to the end, let me know your thoughts on how I would fix college football. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Which one do you prefer out of the three? What would you do differently? Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, have a good one. See ya.